All right, happy Saturday afternoon, everybody. Welcome on into the Hat Creek Interior Studios and welcome into Raiderland Rewind, presented by Live Life Well Clinic of Lubbock, Texas, USA. The Red Raiders living life well, beating West Virginia 49-0, going into the Big 12 title game with a statement win, an 11-win season with just one loss. We'll talk about it all, give you our thoughts on the game, instant analysis, but we want to hear from you on the United Supermarkets chat line. What did you like, love, hate, anything and everything in between? The season recap now with the postseason coming up. It's all out there for you today. So let's have a great visit here on Raiderland Rewind, brought to you by Live Life Well Clinic in Lubbock. In 3, in 2. Good afternoon, West Texans, all you good, fine, friendly folks out there who wish you were. I'm Ryan Hyatt, DRaiderland.com, the site, and you are in the Hat Creek Interior Studios. That's right, custom furniture and accessories. You don't have to own a ranch to live like it. Check out their website, hatcreek.us, or drop by the Lubbock showroom sometime and tell them thanks for being a part of Raiderland. As we've said, many things to get to. Baron Morton, I think maybe his best game as a Red Raider. It was a high-leverage situation. Why? Not because you were a 24-point favorite, but because you had every opportunity to come out flat, not set a tone, not do anything. And it was just the opposite. Dominated from the get-go, physically dominating, punishing defense. Baron Morton ends up over 300 yards on the day. I think 310 the final after that first drive of the second half. I can't come up with any more superlatives for the defense. Every time I think they can't do more, they do a little bit more. And you saw this offense, I think, clicking in the first half at a level that wasn't leaving any meat on the bone for the most part. So we'll get your thoughts on all of that, everything else about the game, including an unwritten rules of football violation by Rich Rod that I think made Texas Tech head coach Joey McGuire just a little peeved in the second half. So we taught him an old Texas high school football coaching lesson. There is the game went on. All right, you guys know what to do. I really want to hear from you guys. So set the tone just like the defense did and the offense did in those first couple of possessions. Jump in on the United Supermarkets chat line, the official supermarket of Raiderland, and, of course, Texas Tech Athletics. There's a grocery store that puts their name on things in Lubbock, and then there's one that takes your money and puts their name on things in Austin. Choose wisely. All right, product placement. Hold on, that's pretty brutal. There we go, product placement. A celebratory sip today. You know, did we think that Texas Tech would beat West Virginia? Yes. Do we think they would cover? Yes. Do we think they would look good? Yes. Was I prepared for the total domination? Not completely. I mean, West Virginia is still a Big 12 football team. They're playing at home. Not that anybody was there, and Texas Tech completely took it away from them. So let's talk about this game, shall we? Get it going first off. Leading off on the United Supermarkets chat line today, Jeff is on our YouTube channel. By the way, we welcome in everybody on YouTube. Ryan Hyatt's Raiderland. We'd love to hit 700 subscribers on the channel this weekend. So invite your friends, hit share. Whether you're on our Facebook Live page, same thing, you can share it with your friends. And on Twitter X, at Ryan Hyatt Media. Get you in on there. Everybody can hit like and share and invite people in. So it's amazing what a difference a fully healthy Terrence Carter Jr. makes. Yes, it's amazing what a healthy offense makes. I think at this point the line is the line, but you saw a difference today with the 10 catches there for 98 yards for Carter, and he doesn't even catch a touchdown pass, but he was targeted 12 times and caught 10 of them, including 58 yards on Yak. Yards after catch today. Tremendous by the Red Raiders, 161 yards after catch. Douglas, of his 127 receiving yards on 5 catches, the 50-yarder, the long one, 51 yards Yak. Corey Aiken, 20 Yak. Even Cameron Dickey, 11 yards Yak, or Rack. I like Rack better than Yak. That's just me. Dickey over 100 yards. Combined offense was 79 on the ground, 6.6 average. I mean, the stats were just silly at different points in the game, and they really were afterwards. You held a team that runs for 170 yards a game to 37 yards total. Their average per play was 3.3. Rush yard average 1.7. They averaged 3.3 coming in. But absolutely, I would have liked to have seen a little more downfield again out of this offense. But hey, 49-0, right? We'll let some of the little hitch passes and everything else slide today. Damon, there on YouTube, the Talking Box is indeed on. Here's to the originals on the old Periscope app. The Talking Box is on, so let's talk Red Raider football. I'm serious. The more I think about it, this was Baron Morton's best game as a Red Raider for what it meant. Jared on Facebook. The offensive line needs to clean up blitz protection. Morton got rushed, hit too many times today. I agree. And they're late in the first half when there's some sort of, I don't know if he dialed up his own little keeper to the left or RPO or this or that or whatever. But if it had happened again, I would have benched him. And then if Leftwich called it, I would have taken his headset away. But yes, this offensive line is what it is. And it is highly ironic to me that in the year that Cody Campbell, Board of Regents chairman, posted "I will" in regards to getting an offensive line, that what could probably and possibly and is the biggest, weakest link in an 11-1 team is the offensive line. Let that sink in for a little bit. Old school Tech Man Jones 3. Micah Hudson looks good. Awesome victory. What you saw there was the byproduct of not just, two good players. I remember Jones is a former 4-star recruit out of Hitchcock. I mean, this guy just didn't, roll in on the tater wagon this morning. Former 4-star recruit. Your 4th string quarterback, by the way. And we'll get to Griffiths. All right? We'll get to that. But you saw two guys that are probably used to playing a lot of football together in practice as backups, Thursday night games, a little bit of scout team, that they probably end up throwing to each other more than, Morton throws to Hudson even. But yeah, the 2 touchdown passes. Lloyd Jones, why not? You just throw in what is literally your 4th string guy. He may be 4th string right now. Jacob Rodriguez may be your 3rd string guy. Oh, we'll get to the Jacob Rodriguez deal. Joey McGuire, Texas Tech post-game radio, said they screwed up the formation, tied in on the wrong side, and they went ahead and ran it anyways there on the field, and it just didn't work out. So that, instead of an interception to touchdown ratio, now Jacob Rodriguez, the only, I think, player in major college football to have an interception ratio, the number of interceptions he's taken away versus the number he's thrown. It's still a pretty good number. Jared on Facebook. Everybody, welcome on into Raiderland Rewind, brought to you by our friends at Live Life Well Clinic in Lubbock. Dr. John Skelton wanting you guys to live your best life. Don't wait till 2026 and these New Year's resolutions. It's December tomorrow. Get in this week. Call them up. Hit them on their great Facebook page or website. Tell them thanks for supporting what we do in Raiderland. And I'll say this again, the power of 5. If every night on our broadcast, 5 of you wonderful people go to our great sponsors and tell them thanks, and you can't wait to shop with them or use their products, that'd be great. United Supermarkets, Facebook page. Hat Creek Interiors, Facebook page. Live Life Well, Facebook page. All of them ready for you. Any idea what 15 did? And I've got his name written down. I'm going to go back and look at it. Ejected in the second half. I think it was a late hit on Jones. I think. But the game, I hate to break this to you, the game was broadcast on ESPN, and the ESPN crew looked like they wanted to be and sounded like they wanted to be anywhere other than Morgantown, West Virginia, where it was cold, and they weren't covering Michigan and Ohio State, and they don't really know anything about the Big 12 and don't care. And we're not going to bring you a good post-game show. We don't even care. They didn't follow up hardly with anything. They didn't follow up on Mitch Griffiths, which we believe he suffered a lower leg injury of some type. If anyone heard anything otherwise on post-game radio on Tech, McGuire did not address it at the end of the post-game show broadcast, and I did not hear an on-field interview. So I've checked around, and I don't think we have anything definitive on Griffiths. That was huge. And by the way, that's why Joey McGuire was pissed, and he kept doing what he did. So I think it was either a targeting hit, unsportsmanlike, something, but they just glossed right over it. Guy gets thrown out, no big deal. Chris, they're on Twitter X at Ryan Hyatt Media. If for some reason you don't subscribe to us on Twitter, you ought to. Perfect scenario to put it away in the first half, rest Morton and the other starters. And you nearly got there with the Rodriguez, and that's what, well, that was early on. Another Heisman Trophy moment. And people now will probably go after McGuire for pandering. And they'll probably, crack a McGuire for doing too much. I wanted Rodriguez to line up as a receiver. But for now, running back, quarterback, linebacker. Yeah, they were trying to get up that 35 so they didn't have to play them in the third, and they did. Alan jumps in on Facebook. Tech made a statement for the committee, beating overmatched teams by large margins, unlike the others fighting for at-large spots. I think this is right. I think my friend Rob Bro had this, the conference point differential for Tech, 27.1. Frankly, this is one of the most dominant performances in Big 12 history by a team in the regular season. Now, you don't want to be the New England Patriots who lost in the Super Bowl to New York, but right now, this has been one of the most dominant deals that I've seen. They are 11-1 against the spread, and those are wins. But let that sink in, that they've had huge point spreads hung on them this year, and they have covered it. 24 points, no problem. It has been ridiculous what Texas Tech has done and how they've done it. It probably still doesn't get talked about enough. All right, you get your comments, questions rolling in on the United Supermarkets chat line. History made today. We will take up the question this week, whether this is the greatest Texas Tech football team of all time. Alan, again, looking ahead to next week, it won't matter if LJ Martin is healthy for BYU. He won't rush anywhere near his average. No. We got plenty of time to break that game down. We will. I think we learned a lot about how Texas Tech can defend BYU. And also, I'm not impressed by BYU's defense. I like their offense. I don't love it. Well, we got plenty of time to get to that game. Jeff, because of the marginal O-line, we will win playoff games 17-10. You want them to run the damn football. This is JC. You want them to run the damn football, then you whine about not going deep. We're trying to keep the quarterback healthy. You way better than that, Hyatt. I must have misheard. No, I would like them to take more deep shots like they did on the play action that was, a deep ball for them there in the first half. I hate side-to-side screens. You can run the ball and throw deep. Trust me. Daryl LaMonica did it. Baron Morton can do it. Yes, I would like more deep shots. Deep thoughts. Let's go to some advanced analytics on this game tonight in the passing department. And again, 49-0. We're splitting hairs here, right? Okay, so short passing today, you were 14 of 20. That's 5 yards or less. So 20 of your total passes were for 5 or less. 8 of 10 medium, 5 of 14. That's 5 to 14 yards. You were 8 of 10, 5 to 14. And you took 2 passes deeper than 15 yards. I'd like to see more than 2 passes. I'd like to see 5, 6, 7 of those a game. Take away some of the 20 that you threw 5 yards. I hate the hitch pass. It hardly ever works. Really hard to do. You had to have some amazing rack today by your receivers to make it work. Oh, by the way, field position rate, 55% of Tech's plays run in their end of the field, 22% by West Virginia on your end of the field. Holy cow, you had 15 big plays today for 365 yards. They had 4 for 98. Good Lord, you just absolutely dominated them. First down today, Tech didn't kill them on first down. 3.7 yards on the average. He had 147 yards on 40 first down plays. That's a lot of first down plays. They only had 21 first down plays. They averaged 5 yards. So kind of an interesting little flip-flop. But you had so many first downs. Didn't really matter. Third down efficiency, Texas Tech, 67%. You gained 11.3 yards on third down. They gained 2.9. They had 13 third down attempts. They gained 2.9 on third down. This Texas Tech defense is ridiculous. Third down attempts, you had 21. You converted 14 times, and you averaged 11.3. On third down passing, you were 13 of 16, 185. That's a game right there. That is just, those are some silly numbers. Meanwhile, back at the conversation. Yes, JC, I want to run the ball, and they ran the ball effectively today, and I want to throw deeper. The fish are further out. We were just talking about that, Chris, on Facebook. We have not heard anything officially. If we do, we'll pass it along to you. But ESPN didn't do anything, and if it was mentioned on the Tech Radio broadcast, I didn't hear it. We think it's a lower leg injury. We saw shots of him on the bike over there. I'm hoping that it was out of an abundance of caution. You watched him go down. And I'm really worried about the right shoulder first on that play. But we'll get into it before we get out of here on the unwritten rules of football that were broken by Rich Rodriquez today. Why Joey McGuire got pissed and why Joey McGuire just hammered him the rest of the way. First, I want to buy. Yes, Texas Tech should be 3 Tuesday night in the upcoming college football rankings. A&M loses. They should be 3. The Big 12 champion, I think, should get the 3 spot, whether it's Tech or BYU, but I think Tech has a much better shot of getting that than BYU at this point. but Texas Tech should be ranked number 3. And gosh, who's been telling you guys that for the last month, maybe? At least the last 3 weeks when things really cleared up after the first rankings came out the first week of November. Who's been talking about this for at least 2 to 3 weeks? And all of a sudden last night when Arizona won and A&M lost and these things happened, I'm seeing national writers like Pete Futak go, hey, gosh, Texas Tech should probably be at 3. Welcome to the party, boys. It hasn't been that hard to figure out, has it? James, the defense second and third string teams played well. They wanted a shutout. They did. They played hard. They played good. Shows you the depth you've got on this team. Makes you feel good if you need them. Timbo on YouTube, Ryan Hyatt's Raiderland on YouTube, 700 subscribers. You guys can make it happen. Worst broadcast I can remember. They flat out didn't want to be there. Sam Acho, his preparation for this game was 0. You could just tell. It was just flat out 0. And your play-by-play voice, Roy Philpott seems like a nice guy who dresses well. Alan Level said during the game, Griffiths could have played if it was a closer game. Okay. I hope that's the case. Did not hear that on the in-game broadcast. Now, I'm assuming it's lower leg. Jared, love the auto call on the fake punt run. Tech knows how to count. West Virginia was lazy, assumed they knew what Tech was going to do. Tech had shown that earlier in the first half. Maybe on the first punt of the game, Texas Tech showed that. Let me see. We actually take notes here, so let me see where we wrote that down. They scored in the first several possessions. Where are we here? I know I wrote it down on one of the punts. There we go. 4th and 10 at the 44. There in the second half on the drive that began with 14-10 or so to go, that they ended up 4th and 6, 15, and it had the late flag, but it had the goofy punt formation on that drive. There at 4th and 10 on the 49. That's what I wrote down. Goofy punt formation, which is my terminology for it's kind of a swinging gate like on an extra point. So they'd shown it earlier. And then they go ahead and do it in the second half, just like after they knocked Griffiths out on an all-out blitz against your backup quarterback, who's really your third-string quarterback, in a 35-0 game in the third quarter where Tech's calling off the dogs and pulling out starters. Everything after that was fair game for Joey McGuire. And that's why you saw some of the defenders in there, and that's why you saw some of the decisions that were made. I promise you he was pissed. And we can talk about that more before we get out of here, so hold me to it. Yes, that was a bad broadcast. JC play-by-play guy said Joey did a good job of staying out of the way of talent they bought. I remember him saying that, but it's an ignorant statement. I guess Ryan Day is staying out of the way of the talent they bought in Columbus, Ohio. They're staying out of the way of the talent there at Georgia. Never mind the fact that Texas Tech has elevated the play of every defensive player for sure that has come in. They played better this year than they played any other time in their career. Yes, Damon, good teams win, but great teams cover. And teams that go 11-1 ATS and they're all wins on the 11, that's a number I've got to put out to my very smart guys in Las Vegas and find out where that ranks in the last 10, 15 years in college football of teams that have won 10 or more games that covered 11 times. That's pretty amazing. Jeff, Sark should be should beat Florida before whining about being left out of the playoff. Yeah, the whole Texas should be in with 3 losses. And all you want to do is focus on, hey, we played Ohio State. Okay, that's fine. The Ohio State loss doesn't matter if you don't lose to a bad Florida team. But they're in the SEC, so they should be in. James, radio play-by-play, said the third quarter was 3 hours long. That's how bored they were. We drifted. We had the interminable replays. Somebody on Twitter said, If a game has a 35-point differential at any time in the game, no replay should be allowed. I endorse that 100%. And it's taken forever. TTU Numbers on Twitter X. Do you believe Bailey will be healthy and ready to go for BYU? Yes. McGuire on the postgame radio show talking about, he used the term dinged up. Some guys got dinged up. They took him out. It looked like it was probably an arm or something. One of those deals, yeah, he probably plays if it matters. Didn't matter. So there you go. Joey McGuire kind of setting that up for you and agreeing with you that if it had mattered, that he gets back out into this game. All right, you guys, we cleared off some of the comments on the United Supermarket chat line. Get your thoughts in on this game, on this season. The most impressive things about today, was it merely the fact that there was no letdown? There was no typical Tech. This team has broken the mold because they have no relationship to past Texas Tech teams. And that's one of the beautiful things about the portal and the NIL and the change of culture that Joey McGuire has been able to create and direct, again, without, overcoaching the talent there. We don't want to do that. That it's the fans who now have to be the ones to let go of the typical Tech idea, because your football program has completely destroyed it. They have completely moved on beyond that. In any game you win, lose, or otherwise from here on out, hey, these are all good football teams, great football teams. You could win, you could lose. That if they lose, it's not a typical Tech. You're playing good football teams from here. It's the playoffs, baby. To me, that may be the most important thing that has occurred. And now every player coming into this program going forward has nothing to do with anything in the past. It is the new reality of Texas Tech football. Let that sink in. This is the reality of where Texas Tech is right now. Jeff, I didn't think they would live up to the hype back in August, but this season has been something special. Agreed. I'm getting this close to calling it the greatest Texas Tech season of all time, even before the Big 12 title game. Damon John Harris said it took 3 hours to play that second quarter. Whoa, man. Let's see. Orange Hoof. We've got a topical cream that can get that taken care of for you, young man. Tech deserves to be in the top 4. Yeah, I think they'll be 3, and I think the committee has slotted the Big 12 champ, particularly if it's Texas Tech, just holding that 3 spot for them, because the SEC and the Big 10 were going to off each other in the top 4. They weren't going to hold on to those spots. Somebody was going to get beat in the title games or otherwise. So it's going to go Big 10 champ, SEC champ, Big 12 champ, particularly Tech, and then your next highest rated, whoever you want to go with. Joey has my vote for Coach of the Year. Or the Heat. Dadgummit. I knew these rumors were going to start. I didn't think it would start until after the season, but yes, the Miami Heat are looking at Joey McGuire. I have said on this story for far too long. We're here to break it. Thank you, Dylan. It was bound to happen, but the Miami Heat have come calling. I hope Cody Campbell and Kirby Hocutt are aware of the strong interest of the Heat. Joey McGuire has my vote for Coach of the Year. Continues to keep the team focused, especially on the road. Plenty of time on Coach of the Year and awards, but now let's see. Was Texas Tech picked first in the conference? No. Were they picked second? No, by most people. Third, fourth, right? Yeah. Texas Tech wasn't a dominant number 1 pick to win the league. Surely that should count for something, right? Back to the United Supermarkets chat line. Sam's there on Twitter X. At Ryan Hyatt Media. We are in the glory days of Texas Tech football. Yes, these are the good old days, as I like to say. Soak in every minute of it. Remember everything about it. Enjoy it, my fellow Red Raiders. Soak it in. Here's another great thought. Think of what all these victories mean in terms of recruiting. How many future great Red Raiders are these victories encouraging to come to Tech? Scads, tons, lots. And now it's not just the money, right? Now it's because you can win at Texas Tech. You can play for championships. You can get into the college football playoff. You can do everything at Texas Tech. You can do it Georgia, Alabama. Well, if then I can't do an Ohio accent. Do they have one? Michigan? How many batted balls did the D-line have? I can think of at least 2. Maybe more. One of the hardest things to get so many defensive linemen to do, just stick up your hands. Most of you are really tall anyways. A lot of you, some of you. Nose guards, not so much. Jump. If you're a nose guard, you got to jump a little. Just stick your hands up. It gets back to one of the things we've talked about with this team. Shillwood's defense scheme alone, and again, Texas Tech did most of this today with just a four-man base, physically dominating West Virginia, just manhandling them and dictating everything that the defense wanted to do. That there have got to be so many blitzes. There have got to be so many concepts waiting to be dialed up. You talk about this team not scratching the surface. That's where I look at it maybe the most, is what they could still do defensively. Oh, speaking of blitzes, after Rich Rodriquez violated the code of ethics, went after your backup quarterback and all that good stuff, down 35-0. You did notice that Joey McGuire dialed up a Curry blitz on their quarterback very next possession. That wasn't an accident, by the way. You normally wouldn't be doing that, leading the way you're. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was a message to Rich Rod. Hey, okay, you had your chance, fine. We'll do whatever we want to you. I didn't see a post-game handshake because ESPN's stupid. I hope local TV, somebody got it if it existed, or if there were comments in the post-game. But I promise you, Joey McGuire will have no love lost for West Virginia or Rich Rodriquez going forward. None whatsoever. Bama wins SEC, possible 2 seed for Tech. No, I don't believe so. I still, okay, I should revise. Possible. But here's the problem that they don't want. They kind of want to keep the Big Ten and the SEC 1-2 oppo brackets for obvious reasons, but there you go. Possible. If you boat race BYU, maybe. If Bama wins Bama going to get beat by Auburn tonight, so it ain't going to matter. Jeff, why did they let Tommy Tuberville referee that game? It kind of did look like him. Boy, they were not very good. Just not very good. Oh, yeah, I don't have a job. I'm currently unemployed, and I'm looking for work. So if you hear of anything, I'm a master shipbuilder by trade. If you hear of anything, please let me know. I would appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in. Rocky, quarterback 4 looked great. Yeah, he did. He really did. Where are the numbers there? Lloyd Jones, the third, 4-star recruit, 4 of 5, 74 yards, 2 touchdowns to Micah Hudson, 336.3 rating. Why have they kept him on the bench all year? That's what I want to know. How is this coaching staff? How is Mac Leftwich overlooked? Fifth string quarterback, really. Barron, Will, Griffiths, Rodriguez. You got Phillips too. You got 6 guys that can play quarterback. Randy Wade gets on the United Supermarkets chat line. Why do we need conference championship games? Why can't college follow the NFL model? They could if they would follow my model, which is to lop off about 35, 40 teams, go to a 72 team league or whatever of regionalized divisions, and then we just seed from there. We could do it. It could happen. But at some point, the conference championship game will become a vestige of the past as we expand to 16, and then they might go to more as the money rolls in, as the teams move away from the NCAA and they form their own professional league here over the next 4, 5, 6, 7 years. And I think years get compressed anymore because just everything seems to be happening faster. If you don't believe that, then all you have to do is look at where we were 5 years ago, NIL transfer portal, and look at where we are today in the realm of college football. And ratings are up, attendance is up, the game is skyrocketing, and what they can make with a NFL-style playoff, it'll get there. Rocky's crying. Lynn is on Facebook. One of our great Facebook people, by the way. We always have a ton of fun on Facebook. If you don't follow us there, you should. Reinhardt's Raiderland. We do our daily dose of West Texas and have a really good conversation. And Lynn's one of our great ones there. He also has flight tracker wear, and the team charter estimated return 513 ETA 740. So a 740 return to Lubbock. They on the big plane. I've gone to West Virginia several times on the smaller charter. And if you're coming back against the jet stream, it's not unusual to have to stop like in Tulsa and refuel. I'm not kidding. That's why we used to call it a 2-mule trip up there. The big plane gets you home without having to make a stop. And we should credit West Virginia for throwing some nice weather today. About as good as you could hope for. Mid-30s, but it was dry. There was no wind. Where, as we speak, a cold front is making its way through the Panhandle and into the South Plains. If you're around here, you know what I'm talking about. The winds have shifted already from the south and west earlier today. And where are we right now? Yeah, 51 degrees. So oh, wow. Yeah, the cold front's hit. It was in the 60s earlier today. And now at 3:31, it's 51 degrees at the local mezzanette near Raiderland. Winds from the northeast, 21 miles per hour, gusting to 30 miles an hour. Yeah, it's here. We'll get a little chilly tonight. Yeah, the weather wasn't a problem. There was nothing strange in this game that made you think, all right, this is going to make it squirrely today, other than Rich Rodriquez, who got what he deserved. You want to play that way? We can play that way. There are a lot of things we can do. We can run some fake punts. We can continue to blitz. We can keep our number ones out there and continue to hammer you. We can do whatever we want to. Oh, and you can't stop our fourth-string quarterback from throwing touchdown passes on you? Guess we'll just keep doing that then, won't we? File today away. Tech West Virginia future. L Zone 2000. Landing Zone 2000. As long as the wind doesn't come from the southeast, he said, talking about the feedlots of Slayton or other places. Well, now, southeast, heck, you get that northwest wind, you get our friends up there at Muleshoe and everything else, but it usually doesn't get to Lubbock. So Slayton is really the only feedlot close enough where you need to worry about that in the Hubbaplex these days. 49-0, the final, Texas Tech over West Virginia, total domination. It was like, 16-1 at one point. First downs. Where were we? Yeah. Oh, just total beatdown. Into the first. Give me some more of the. At the half, 28-0, 351 to 114 total yards, 20-5 in first downs. 20-5 in first downs on that one. I just can't say enough about just how they set the tone early. With the 3-and-out, the Romello Heights sack. Then you go score real quick, 8 plays, 57 yards, 227. You had them down 145-4 in total yardage at the 3:03 mark of the first quarter, 14-0. End of one, 21-0, 178-16 total yards. We mentioned that they rushed for 37. They averaged 170 on the year. I've seen some great Texas Tech defense over the decade, and I mean going back into the 80s. This one, it's it by far. It's not even close, you know. There were great defenses in the 80s as well with Gabe Rivera, and in the middle 80s, you had the #1 secondary in the country. You just couldn't score. You know, you were losing games like 17-14 and 14-10 and stuff like that. You just literally, for most of the early to mid 80s, could not score. JCTT, the Clark Field where we flew in and out of, can't land anything bigger than an A321, which is what United uses for all of our charters. That was the best thing about our small charters in basketball. We could land right there in basically downtown Morgantown. Tech used to go to Pittsburgh and drive down. And the 16-play drive. Yes. 16 plays, man. That's hard to do in practice. 16 plays, 83 yards, 623. I mean, I thought that's where you took the fight out of them. They're going up 14-0. That at that point, it was just a matter of not if, but when and how Texas Tech was going to dominate this game. I mean, literally midway through the first quarter, did anyone think that West Virginia was going to have anything for Texas Tech today? I didn't. You just didn't get that feeling whatsoever. I'm going to go back to a few other comparison stats on this one. Again, 49-0. Stats aren't going to tell the story. We talked about Yak, 160 yards of yards after catch to 41. Texas Tech won that. I thought there was something that jumped out at me earlier now. I can't see what it was. Hmm. 42 red zone points today. They even got a fade pass that I hate the fade pass. I'm just carrying on a great tradition. Jack Dale hated the fade pass. I hate the fade pass. I hate anything that is a single outcome, single option play, particularly in the red zone. That just drives me nuts. I want multiple options. I want movement. I want all sorts of things. But, you can't always get what you want. Mick Jagger told us that years ago. All right, you can get in on the Raiderland Rewind tonight. Texas Tech beats West Virginia 49-0. Get your thoughts, comments, questions, anything else on your mind this evening. We'll go as long as the conversation is good today. We will have our column in the morning, 5 things we know on a Sunday, ready to go for you at theraiderland.com. We're just happy to be here in the Hat Creek Interior Studios. And if you are outside the immediate Lubbock area, hatcreek.us is the website. It's tremendous. And, of course, everything brought to you by Dr. John Skelton, great former Red Raider, football player. He's still a Red Raider. And the Live Life Well Clinic in Lubbock. Don't wait for 2026. Start feeling better this week. Give them a holler. I don't care what it is. Maybe, guys, you're trying to lose a little weight. Maybe your doctor said, hey, you're pre-diabetic, and you started doing some stuff. Maybe it's not working out for you. I don't know. Maybe you just got a bad belly. Just don't feel right. Gut health can be really difficult for some of us as we get older. They've got a lot of great ways to help you out at the Live Life Well Clinic in Lubbock. Check them out. Timbo Championship, 1 win away. Waited my whole life for this. Well, yeah. Unless you were alive in the Border Conference days. By the way, I thought it kind of fitting that it was a former Border Conference team that clinched the title game appearance for Tech with Arizona, beating Arizona State last night. There was something interesting about that. Poetic justice, maybe. Lynn, Wisconsin at Minnesota playing in a snowstorm. Good. I love watching games played in the snow when I'm at home and the heat's on. Well, you did. You can't always get what you want, but sometimes you just might find that you get what you need. Oh, yeah. Check in on some Big 12 scores here in just a sec. We could have done sooner to hurry up clock. Run, pass for first multiple times in a row. I think perfect. Yeah. I thought it's a fine line, 35-42, that you don't want to just start completely taking your foot off the gas, but I wouldn't send the play in until there was about 15 seconds left on the play clock. I would take it out of my quarterback. I don't want them standing at the line. I want them huddled up, and you get the play at 15, and then you go run it. And you're snapping it with 5 on the clock. All right, where are we? Oh, I hit the wrong score bug. There we go. Take a look at some scores as you guys get your questions, comments coming in on the United Supermarkets chat line here on Raiderland Rewind. We're in a delay, and I don't know why, in Fort Worth. Do we have lightning? What's going on? 7-0 TCU over Cincinnati, a pair of 7-4 teams. Colorado and Kansas State finished the year. Kansas State could not cover the number today. They win 24-14. Avery Johnson, 114 yards passing in that one. Houston and Baylor. Baylor. 31-24 Houston. 9-win Houston. 9-3 Houston. Hey, I'm being funny here. You've got a win over a 9-win team. You went to their place and you crushed them. Thank you, Houston. Baylor, Dave Aranda, no athletic director, grease fire program right now. They could meander for quite a while down there in Waco. Iowa State and Oklahoma State, this one at Boone Pickens Stadium. And it was all Iowa State, kind of, sort of, 20-13. Iowa State ends up 8-4, 1-11 for Oklahoma State. Eric Morris is going to be busy with those Screaming Eagles of North Texas for a few more weeks in the playoffs. And then BYU, they put lipstick on the pig. They were trailing 14-0. Then they outscored UCF 17-0 in the second as they woke up. 21-7 in the third, 3-0 in the fourth. They pull away to a 41-21 victory. If nobody was paying attention to the game, all they're going to see is 41-21 to get to 11-1. That's fine by me because I want BYU as hyped up by the media. I want them as highly thought of as possible when Texas Tech beats them next Saturday. Kansas, Utah yesterday, 31-21. Arizona last night, 23-7 to round out your Big 12 play. Anything of interest to you right there? Baylor, did they just stay with Aranda because they have to? Dion finishes 3-9, but he's the right guy. He just needs a little more time. And Sonny Dykes really needs this win at TCU. 8-4 keeps the Wolves away for a little while, and they've kind of righted just a little bit. But 8-4 going to be a whole lot better for Sonny Dykes there in Fort Worth. And they had a really good high school recruiting class the last 2 years, actually, that Sonny Dykes was one of the first ones to really go hard into the portal and hard into transfers. A couple of years ago, his final year at SMU, and then his first year at TCU, just getting the roster, and then flips back to the high school deal. Meanwhile, United Supermarkets chat line. I think it's third nationally right now, Chris, on the defense, giving up an average of 12 points. I believe it's third nationally. I think it's third nationally. If not, it's got to be top 5 as of right now, but I think it's third. What did you think of Griffith's backup? Lloyd Jones III, former 4-star recruit out of Hitchcock, Texas. Thought he looked really good. I hope we never see him again this year. Well, maybe when Texas Tech is up, and one of the playoff games really big, you can get him in there. Lightning in Fort Worth passed me a few moments ago. Okay, so yeah. But now we stop games if there's lightning anywhere within the tri-state area. It's just whatever. Okay, there was lightning somewhere. We're going to stop the game. I was involved in a high school game. It struck the goalpost. We stopped for about 2 minutes. Since it was on the other end of the field, we're probably good. I thought it was interesting, though, that it was Jones and not Phillips. So, Holden Phillips, the freshman out of Friendship, who's got in several times this year. He got him a Leonard jacket. And I had to wonder at the time, it was getting really chippy, and West Virginia was taking shots. And the thought crossed my mind, are you protecting him as well as your absolute fail-safe in case maybe Griffiths is banged up more than you think, or just you don't want to get another quarterback on the depth chart immediately? And that thought crossed my mind. And who knows, maybe that's what they did. Because we haven't seen – have we – I don't remember Jones being out there. Maybe he has been in the waning moments of something, but I don't remember it. All right, we'll keep going as long as the comments keep coming in and the conversation is good here. If you got in late, you just want our thoughts on a couple of different things. I'm more interested in what you guys are thinking. What impressed you the most today, this season, going to the Big 12 title game, confidence level on that, taking on BYU next Saturday there at Jerry World. I contend this was Baron Morton's best day as a Red Raider. And I think it's kind of fitting that he went over 300 yards. First time since Oregon State game. But he's been beat up. You've taken him out of games. It's kind of weird, isn't it? That if Tech had played more close games, if Tech hadn't been so dominant, he would have had better numbers and could have been in the Heisman Trophy conversation as being the quarterback on an 11-1 team. Now, obviously, he battled some injury through that, but that by not playing the second half in your first 3 games because you're blowing them out and not being a brand name going into the year, Tech and Barron Morton, that if the Ohio State or Alabama or Georgia quarterback puts up those numbers, or an LSU quarterback puts up numbers like that, they're 100% being talked about in the Heisman. Guarantee you. But because it was Morton, because it was Texas Tech, well, no, we can't do that. But and he's not going to get any healthier. The knee is what it is there with the tibia. It is what it is at this point. Timbo, I think Jones was just cleared to play from injury. That could be part of the case. Not even seen him before, but it sure felt like they don't even go that far deep on the depth chart usually. So I just had to wonder that you didn't put the guy out there who had prior game experience. Maybe you want that, Yeah, Jones, that's okay. Yes, on that, but still, I don't know. And maybe it was just a reward. You don't want to read too much into it. It could be a combination of all the factors, I think, and that's probably the best way. It's not usually a single silver bullet that you answer a question with something. That it probably might be just a little bit of everything. You do have a guy who's been out there in Phillips. You had a guy who hadn't been able to be out there. You give him a little shot there at the end. Keeps them happy, right? That's something Joey McGuire's done a pretty good job of, and the coaches have done, I think, this year. That with all the depth and all the talent, that you played as many guys and give them a chance to be a part of this thing. That at the end of the year, if they want to hit the portal, it shouldn't be because they didn't have an opportunity to get on the field for an 11-1 team. That they didn't have a chance to do that. So I think it's really hard to hold on, particularly to quarterbacks. And I'm not saying this to say anybody's transferring out. Don't get me wrong. This is just a general statement, college football. That with good quarterbacks, it's hard to keep them because they have the chance now to go somewhere and play. So you got to have a kind of a special guy who wants to or is willing to compete for a job for a couple of years, wait his turn, whatever that means. You don't get turns in my offense. You earn the right to play. Nobody gets a turn. It's not your turn to play. Sorry, I started channeling my dad right there. Coach Hyatt would appreciate that. One of his least favorite songs, John Fogerty. Put me in, coach. I'm ready to play. It's on the radio one time. We're driving down the road. He just starts mumbling, put me in, coach. Put me in. I'll tell you when you can go in. You don't tell me when you can go in. I'll tell you when you can go in. Dad, it's a song on the radio. And now you know the world I grew up in. I thought they got Jones out there as quick as they could this year. It was today. Looked spectacular for the first snaps to me. Yeah, he looked really good. But I think that tells you you've got 2 guys now in Phillips and Jones that have now played, look pretty decent. And how about our man from Albany, Adam Hill? The stats are not going to blow anyone away today. Hill gets in. 10 carries, 14 yards. Yep, he had a long run of 8, 1.4 in the game. But you know what he was doing? He was not carrying the football. He was protecting the football. That man had one mission in mind. Hold on to the football, stay in bounds. And he did it like a boss. I've been really impressed and pleased for him this year. That shows me that if you're a 2A kid, and obviously Albany, and he's a special kind of athlete too, but Albany or you're playing at Ropes or wherever, that if you're good enough, Texas Tech will give you a shot, and they'll treat you like a football player. And that doesn't mean Texas can go out and recruit a bunch of, 2A guys or whatever. But for a West Texas kid, they won back-to-back state titles, I believe, while he was there. And that just pleases me for him, first and foremost, but it just pleases me for the program. That you are, we talked about this, you're winning West Texas first, in my opinion. You're getting the best players out there. You get Curry from Coronado, that when the schools locally have some guys that can contribute, Joey McGuire's like, fine, you get a shot. That hasn't been the case completely the last couple of coaches at Texas Tech. All right, a few more minutes. Conversation has been great. You guys have been fun. I enjoy it. We'll go a little longer here with you guys on Raiderland Rewind here in the Hat Creek Interior Studios. If you're looking for some cool Christmas gift ideas for you and your family, Hat Creek Interiors, maybe you've been looking for a great sofa or a dining room set, right? Your wife would be going, oh, yeah. And then you go, yeah, and it's Hat Creek Interior, so it looks cool. You know? Always love it when small town kids get playing time. Agreed. Just because you're from a small town doesn't mean you're a small kid or a small player. 11-1, fourth time in history. We'll have the discussion as we go forward about, and rightfully so, this team has earned it at this point. Is this the greatest Texas Tech football team in the history of the program? And what it means getting to a Big 12 title game in this context of college sports today, what it means getting into the college football playoff, what it can mean, by winning the title game and going in at, as a protected seed. Sorry, I went basketball on that. Getting a first round bye and all that good stuff. We got time to do that. So they should be 3 in this week's ranking. They should be. I'd like to see the gymnastics that the committee will have to perform to keep them from doing that, given everything we've seen. But don't put it past them. We just think Notre Dame has shown so much here in the days that they haven't really played that we've JCTT on YouTube. By the way, our YouTube people, we love you. Invite your friends in. Let's grow it to 700 this week. You can do it. We can get to 700. That'd be awesome. Amen to us 2 and 3A boys in Big Country and points all over. Yeah, those are Salt Albany Lion teams. They got used to hanging out there at Jerry World there for a couple of years. Keep thinking there's a stat that I've missed or something I wrote down. I always feel that I get off the rewind and everything, and I'm like, oh man, I meant to do something with that, and I didn't do it. By the way, is Romello Height the best defensive lineman in the Big 12 that nobody really seems to talk about? We're going to make a case for that, right? We can do that. How about the Dickey touchdown pass reception? How about that today? It was really an interesting play, and it was almost like he was invisible to the West Virginia defense. They had split it out, and I'll give the ESPN announcer credit. He actually noticed that Dickey emptied the backfield and was out there. And maybe we've seen it before. If we have, I hadn't noticed it. But putting Dickey out, then we've seen Williams. By the way, we should probably mention Jacoby Williams, 15 for 60 yards, 4 yards carry on the day, and then Williams just some couple of nice catches. But anyways, if it's happened, I don't remember it being Dickey out there. They're in the red zone, and you see the pressure, so scramble, and a lot of guys, come back to the quarterback, the receivers I'm talking about, you're taught to come back to the ball. Well, in the end zone, it's a little harder to do. You're compressed. And Dickey just kind of, he goes into like this Romulan cloaking mode. He's like, you can't see me. Not really here. And nobody covers him. And he's just standing there flat-footed and catches the touchdown pass. I'll go back and look at that this week on film. Nice little wrinkle there if it was something different. Who's your running back MVP, by the way, this year? Dickey, 1,000-yard rusher. He went over 1,000 yards. Jacoby Williams, pass-catching running back, running back, and doing some returns for you. Joey Albany, been there more than Joey and C. Hill could dream. Yeah, C. Hill got there some. Ugh. Yeah. And that now that the regular season is over, We will do some regular season awards this week on the daily broadcast each night at 6:30, and one of them is going to be offensive MVP. A litany of receivers. Terrence Carter Jr., we mentioned the 10 catches, 98. Caleb Douglas might get my vote. Guy all year out there, 127 yards receiving today. You know, Cowboy Coy. No, we get it. How about Micah Hudson? Is Micah, we talk about payoff moments for players. Today, was that a 2-year payoff moment for the often much maligned and rightfully so for the most part, Micah Hudson, to get himself a couple of times. The leaping grab was great. But we talk about, guys that they don't give up on or anything else. Today was kind of that day for Micah Hudson. That you came back, you did what you needed to do. You could tell the sideline, with the shots on the sideline, that the players, it seemed like genuinely pleased for Hudson. I mean, what does that tell you about maybe some of the chemistry of the team? That on the outside looking in, and I think rightfully so, a lot of Texas Tech fans, when he came back, are like, hey, show me. All right? All the hype, the Mahomes, Adidas thing or whatever they call that scholarship deal or NIL deal, pardon me, all that stuff, all the hype, going to A&M, not going to, I think a lot of Texas Tech fans rightfully, like, fine, show me. I think he's earned the right to be a Red Raider. And it sure seems like his teammates feel like it. In the midst of all this 11-1 and everything else, that to me is a pretty telling thing about this program, about the players, and how quickly a program can create culture in this day and age in NIL. Joey McGuire's not getting near enough credit for that, is he? Well, he just went out and bought a bunch of players. How do you get them to play well together? Well, he just went out and bought a bunch of talent. How do you get them to play better than they did before? The media narrative gets old, and I know it gets old for you guys as well. I agree, Andy. So happy for Hudson today. All right, you guys have been tremendous. We're going to ask you to do a couple of things. We want you to share this on your social media feed, whether you're on our YouTube channel, easy to do, hit thumbs up and share. Facebook, same deal, thumbs up, share it with your friends. And Twitter X, same deal, at Ryan Hyatt Media. Subscribe to everything because it's all free. And then we're going to post this on the website at theraiderland.com, where we will have our Sunday column, 5 things we know on a Sunday waiting for you in the morning. But share this, invite your friends in. Let's grow Raiderland even just a little bit more. JC Hyatt, end zone cloaking a thing. I saw it. I saw it on a deep football stream. Forward it to you. You get there and just be like the cop in Sharky's Machine. Sharky's Machine reference for the win today. Very impressive. All right, we're out of beverage, so we must be out of time. At least that's what Dean Martin said. Thanks, everybody, for coming to our TED Talk today. We enjoyed the hell out of Raiderland Rewind. Again, Power of 5 of you great people. Go thank our sponsors today. Hat Creek Interiors on Facebook and on their web, hatcreek.us. United Supermarkets there on the chat line. Great Facebook page. And, of course, Dr. John Stockton. Dr. John Skelton. Dr. John Stockton with us today, formerly of Utah. Anyhow, Live Life Well Clinic. They have a tremendous website and Facebook page. Tell them thanks for supporting everything we do here in Raiderland. We're going to go post this up there on our social media feeds and on the website. We'll see you in the morning at theraiderland.com.